What's going on? It's your boy Blackout Jones back again with a review of ReZero, starting life in another world, man. Really quickly, we're on the road to 100 subscribers. Currently, I'm at 87. I would like to get 100 by the time the summer season of anime is over. That'd be a great thing. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below, and so we can grow the channel. Let's get into this review. So I just want to start off by saying that episode 3 was that heat, and it wasn't even a whole lot of action in this episode. The first 2 episodes of the season had me worried. Not gonna lie to you, I was not impressed. You know, of course there was a foundation being laid, but I was starting to get worried that season 1, you know, the standard for season 1 was all the way up here, and I was getting worried that season 2 might not be able to attain the same quality of season 1. But you know, this episode was very info driven, and this is a psychological show, understand me. So in psychological shows, psychological thrillers, you know, they're going to make you think. And this episode, a lot of info given, and it made us think a lot. At least it made me think about what I was going to say before think about what I watched, you know, instead of just glazing over it. So there was a lot of nuanced things in this episode. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. So starting off the bat, you know, we leave off where Subaru gets transported into this another realm. He's in a race like in 7. He's in a realm inside of another realm. But anyway, he meets the Witch of Greed, and she, you know, introduces herself or whatever, and they have a little tea session. I just want to say that the Witch of Greed, she's a funny character, man. I like her banter. I like her commentary. So the personality is very funny. I still don't know if she's evil quite or not, or she's just, you know, or she's just playing coy. But overall, she was a good character. I want to see more interaction with them in the future. And about Subaru's character also. Subaru, you know, it's been a while since I watched the first season. I watched the recap of the first season, but you know, I forgot how Subaru just don't give a fuck about the situation. Like, he's just like, you know, he comes from another world. He's not conforming to their standards. He's just doing what he wants. He really didn't even want to talk to the damn Witch of Greed. He was just like, oh, this is where the sanctuary is. All right, peace. I'll catch you later. But Subaru, he doesn't conform to shit. Also, I forgot how much he really loves Amelia. You know, because he really fucks with Amelia heavy. I gotta rewatch the first season, man, because he's just a unique character. That's part of the reason why the show is good. It's also one of his flaws, the fact that he just doesn't conform to the situation. You know, he doesn't read the room pretty well. He'll jump out there and say some, you know, outlandish shit, and just, you know, cause up a big stir. But luckily, she wasn't a spiteful witch, and she didn't, you know, punish him for his insolence. Oh, we see them vocabulary words. Moving forward. All right, you guys, but during that interaction, there were a few key points that we have to touch on that I noticed, and I'm sure you noticed too. But let's go ahead and break it down really quickly. Well, she ran through all of the witches, you know, all the you know, witches of gluttony. So each sin has a witch that accompanies it, which is something new to us, something new to me. Also, we learned that, and some of it got pretty heavy, got pretty dark. You know, she changed the room, and she was getting real. Her face getting crazy. Subaru was kind of shook after she started getting to her witch bag. But a witch factor. So Subaru has the sloth witch factor in him when he killed the Archbishop Sin of Sloth, or Sin's Sloth Archbishop. Anyway, sloth is in him. Now, a witch factor. What can he do with a witch factor? What exactly is a witch factor? Do you have any sort of powers? Any limitations? Basically, it's a lot of questions. We know shit about a witch factor, man. Obviously, he's immune to some things. He was allowed to enter the barrier, or, you know, enter the realm of the, you know, witch, because he had a sloth in him, or enter the sanctuary, the witch graveyard, because sloth was in him, right? But what more can it do? That's a lot to be desired. And Subaru, he didn't want to ask her any questions. Like, she literally had like all the knowledge in the world, and he didn't ask anything, bro. So I was kind of triggering, kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. Next, also at the end of their meeting, the Witch of Greed allowed Subaru a free trial per se, to a free pass to go with the trial or what have you, because this is very important for the back half of the episode. As we learn, the back half, only mixed bloods can, you know, attempt the trial. Who are qualified can attempt the trial. If you're not qualified, you will be, you know, hurt, injured, what have you. So she lets Subaru have a pass that he didn't know what it was at the time. We didn't know what it was at the time. But, you know, it was very important at the end of the episode. We'll get to that. So in the next scene, we get introduced to Garfield. Not Garfield, the friendly orange cat that we all know and love, but Garfield, a true savage who has some strength. It seemed like he was guarding the sanctuary for some reason, probably protecting it for anybody who was looking for Roswell and the gang. Basically, he was the protector from what it seems like. So anyway, they clear there, you know, they meet each other, clear everything up, put everything behind them, and it turns out that the sanctuary is a real place. But as I said last episode, sanctuary doesn't seem quite like a sanctuary at all. And when we get there, we see that it's actually a pretty much of a shithole, pretty much very nasty, very disgusting, very run down. People are living there, but they are not happy. It's a very, very bad place to go to. Would not want to go to a sanctuary at all. But here's where a lot of info comes in for this episode. So, you know, Amelia and Subaru, they go meet Roswell. Roswell is all bandaged up. He's fucked up in the game, man. And, you know, one thing leads to another, and they come to find out that everybody's under house arrest. And once you enter once you break the barrier into the witch's graveyard, it was revealed that it was a witch's graveyard. Is the sanctuary that Roswell dubbed it now, because his family looked after that land. But once you enter, you can't get out, basically. If you're of mixed blood. Yeah, so last episode I was saying, like, why are they still in the sanctuary, you know, after things are over, you know, the fight's over. Like, eventually you have to come back to the mansion to see what's going on. But turns out they couldn't even leave because they're under house arrest. So I'm glad that came full circle for me this week. So essentially, the only way to exit the witch's graveyard, aka the sanctuary, is to pass the witch's trial. And only people who can pass the witch's trial are people of mixed blood who are also qualified. And so it turns out that Roswell did not qualify. I don't think he's of mixed blood at all, but he still gave it a try anyway. It's a lot of demi-humans who live there, but they're not qualified. So, you know, that leaves Amelia, and who is of mixed blood. She's half elf, half human, I think. And so technically it will only be Amelia. That's why Amelia was the one who, you know, who talked to the villagers and was like, yeah, I'll go in place of Roswell or what have you. So that's what that was. Subaru, however, if you remember from the very, very, very beginning, you know, the only reason he was able to even get into the sanctuary was because he had sloth in him, you know, from killing Beetlejuice. So he had sloth in him, cool. But if you remember, the witch granted him a pass to do the witch trial because she knew that this was going to happen later on or whatever. But she gave him the ability to take the trial. Nobody knew that, only he knew that. And of course he couldn't tell anybody, because then that would, you know, he made a vow with the witch. I think eventually he's going to break that vow by mistake, or he might have to break the vow. But, you know, so eventually Amelia, she walks for the trial. She was qualified, but however, the light went off. So the light's supposed to stay on when you're doing a qualification test for the trial. So Subaru runs in right behind her, and, you know, lights up for him also, because, you know, he has the ability to do it. And we get a serious flashback. It's like he wakes up, he says, you know, you need to revisit your past first, and he goes back to real life in another world, back to his home world. It was very odd, very interesting, because, like, is he dreaming, or is this just this is only a trial, or is he really back in real life? Because the way they had it, like the way they had the filter on the show, it made it seem like it was just a dream or a flashback. But you know, he was back in his own room, all of his manga, you know, all of his figurines, his father and stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting next episode to see how this plays out. Is he really back in his home world, or is this just a manifestation of his imagination? Or was he just dreaming? Like, it's a whole lot of shit to think about, man. Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. What is a review without some speculation? So, and some theories, man. So let's go ahead and speculate some shit. So, I feel as though that, let me check my notes, man. This trial that they keep talking about, the trial will probably be for Subaru, since, you know, he's back in his home world. Here's the trial. Will he choose to live in his own reality and go back to normal, or will he choose to stay in the alternate reality, or the fictional reality with Rim and Ram, and choose to stay there with them and finish out his mission there? I feel as though that's going to be a trial for him. I feel as though it's going to be like an ultimatum like that. You know, you're never going to be able to go back, whatever, but we're going to give you the option now. Amelia, I don't know what happened to her, man. She might have, I don't know what happened, because the light went out as soon as she walked in there. So she might have failed. So she might just be a dead mission. Subaru just might have to grab her on the way out or something like that. But I think that's Subaru's trial. Also, just checking the notes right here. Will we learn why he loves Amelia so much? Because if you look, you know, we flash back to his room. It was all these figurines of, like, you know, look like elven creatures that look just like Amelia. So that might just be his ultimate fantasy, just being with Amelia per se, because, you know, Rim has expressed, you know, that she loves Subaru or whatever, but he just doesn't want us. But we see it, obviously Amelia is like a sort of a fixation for him. But overall, man, this episode was solid. It was all squared away, nice foundational episode or whatever. I can't wait to see what happens in the next one and what it leads to, but I'm sure that Subaru will stay in the fantasy world. But how long will he be in reality? That's the real question. Will he be in reality for just one episode? I say, if they give us 2 solid episodes in reality, I'd be happy, because we didn't even see what his life was like before he got transported. So it'd be pretty interesting to see how he was living and what he was, because he seemed like a pretty badass guy, or a pretty straightforward guy in here, but I want to see how he was in real life. But anyway, man, it's your boy Blackout Jones. Great episode today. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait for next week. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. But anyway, like I was saying before my camera rudely cut off on me, this is your boy Blackout Jones. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe so we can get to 100 subs, man, by the time the summer season of anime is over. And stay corona free, stay sucker free, and have a blessed day, man. Peace.